So very good afternoon and welcome along to another of our Business Spotlight interviews. My name's Ron Maycock. I'm the owner of Action Coach Castleford and Business Performance UK. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Alison Hobson, who is the founder and managing director of Cupapeel. So very good afternoon to you, Alison.
Good afternoon, Rob.
It's great to have you with us. So we'll be hearing a little bit more from Alison in just a few moments. Before we did that, though, really just wanted to explain what the purpose of these interviews actually is. We're surrounded by some amazing businesses in our region. They've each got their own stories to tell, and these interviews help us share their journeys, showcase their achievements, and ultimately maximise their exposure, all in the name of abundance. And it's for the benefit of businesses right the way across the UK, not just in Yorkshire, and sometimes even internationally as well. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Alison. Alison, do you want to tell me a little bit more about Cupapeel?
Of course, yeah. So Cupapeel was founded in 2010. We started our company as a print and point of sale company. My background is working with lots of beer and beverage companies in the leisure industry, so supplying a range of point of sale. About 13 years ago, after I'd had a child, I sort of wanted more of a lifestyle business, and I decided to start Cupapeel, working with some of my existing customers. Did it end up being a lifestyle business? No, completely changed because it's absolutely chaotic, which is really good. So in the last 5 years, the business has evolved somewhat, whereas we were supplying point of sale into bars and things. We've actually now focused on one product, which is our paper cups. So our paper cups are used, in many events, many festivals, lots of football clubs, rugby clubs, people like that.
And the actual sort of cup side of things, then, are these single-use, multi-use, or is this still very much a branding point of sale for their products?
It's absolutely a branded point of sale. So they're very brandable, full colour graphics on them. It's a single-use paper cup. Completely, it's PFAS free, it's recyclable, compostable, biodegradable. It's got no plastic in the product, so it's ticking all of the environmental credentials that it needs to do, which is why a lot of the brand owners are getting on board. Obviously, they're on their net zero campaign, and these cups just tick all of the boxes. Excellent.
So I'm guessing the single-use bit has been driven. I mean, did this come out of lockdown or something, or was this always the intention that they were always going to be part of a circular economy, but single-use?
Yeah, single-use. When you go to a festival, to keep going back to the bar with a reusable cup isn't always effective. Single-use, it just works if it gets put in the right bin, or if it gets left on the floor or whatever. We know that these cups will degrade in the right way. They will be recycled in the right way. So it was always the intention to be single-use.
And within Cupapeel, then, so is this operating as a separate brand, or are you always using the client's brand, if you like?
No, so all of our pints and half pints are UKCA marked. We've worked with weights and measures, obviously, and we on each of our cups that are UKCA marked, we have our brand name, which is Cupapeel. Mm-hmm. So that's the brand name of the cups within Cupapeel.
Yeah, fantastic. So, are you seeing a massive variation from the offering from Cupapeel to Cupapeel? In terms of the client base, who's buying these things?
Yeah, so when Cupapeel started, we were working mainly with brand owners, whereas now we're working with event companies, bar operators. So the use of the cups is used by a much wider audience, which has allowed us to talk to other people. Whereas we were always working with a brand owner, now it's opened up opportunities. So some of the cups are branded with a brand, if you like, and then others are are branded with an event or a football club or whatever it may be. So they're used very differently, but they are an absolutely, if you think about a paper cup, that's an advertisement in somebody's hand. You're walking around the venue, you're walking around the festival with that, and they're full graphics all the way around. You've almost got an A4 poster in somebody's hand.
Yeah. And I'll not go into which particular fast food restaurant, but on an occasion more recently, I remember going into a particular one, and my son ordered a drink, and the straw that came with it, albeit paper, felt like it was paper. And by the time it had gone in his mouth, I'm thinking, well, it's no longer a straw. So are you starting to make inroads into those restaurant chains, the fast food kind of chains that have had paper cups, but I'm guessing have quite a high plastic content in there well in the UK?
Yeah, a lot of the cups have got a PE or PLA lining. Ours haven't. Ours is a dispersion coating, so which makes them, it sets them aside from other cups, which is why, in terms of the recyclability, it makes them far more recyclable than the other cups I mentioned.
Yeah. And in the UK specifically, what's actually happening in that as an industry? Because I know it's hitting the news in terms of single-use plastics being very much not the flavor of the month and everything like that. So is that also, I mean, the drive to have a paper-based cup without any plastics in it, or with only minimal plastics, or whichever way, is that European or is that UK? Where's that coming from as a drive at the moment?
Yeah, the single-use plastic directive is in Europe at the moment. However, we do expect that we will follow suit at some point. Bearing in mind us as a business, we don't just work within the UK, we do supply into Europe as well. So we're very much aware of what is, some countries now have tax on cups with plastic in them, and we're ahead of the curve.
And are these working in dispensing machines as well at the moment, or are these just come in a stack?
Yeah, we don't supply into the vending market currently. Not to say we can't do, because we can.
So watch this space kind of scenario on that. So
yeah, the product is very adaptable, and we don't expect to stay doing exactly what we're doing. We expect to expand the range of products, expand the markets that we work within. We're already well underway with new machinery for ice cream packaging. We're already looking at targeting sort of garden centres and things like that. So we're already thinking way ahead of where we are at the moment.
Yeah. And in terms of the relationship between it being still point of sale, and it doesn't get much more point of sale than that, it's in your hand, to manufacturing these things, are you outsourcing all manufacture and have a supply, or do you actually are you involved with that supply chain aspect of making the cup? So I guess the question behind that, have you transitioned, are you still point of sale, or have you transitioned actually into a cup manufacturer that happens to have marketing on it?
Absolutely. So we started out life, my background was print and production, and I always swore that I'd never get back into that. However, the opportunity was interesting enough for me to invest in machinery, which is what we did some 5 years ago. And then since then, we actually subcontract our machines out to another manufacturer. Right. But they are contracted to work alongside us only on our sizes.
Dedicated production line. Absolutely. Just for yours, and then actually filling downtime capacity with other work.
They don't actually sell the sizes that we supply, so it doesn't really impact on that.
Yeah, perfect. No, it just makes sense. It's interesting that transition, and things have a way of dragging us back into certain decisions that we go, yeah, never again, and then before you know it, we go full circle, and it's what we're really good at. So it does.
Funnily enough, I was with a printer this week, and we were talking about, we're looking at the sort of next generation things in terms of cups, and he said something about buying a printing press, and I was giggling to myself thinking, I've been there, I've done that, never again.
Yeah, no,
you've got to play to your strengths at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And the machinery and everything, that's in the UK, that's local to yourselves and everything.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking in terms of people's awareness now of supply chains, when they're saying this is sustainable, this is net zero, this is a carbon footprint, and then you find out that it's traveled 14,000 miles across the world in 3 different directions just to get to a point, and you're going, it's not that neutral, is it, if you're sort of adding all that in? So it's a great differentiator to have it locally, to have that sustainability and recycling based message from your product, and it'll go a long way, especially at the moment within the industry, I think, to secure a very bright future for you. So within your business at the moment, then, what are your top challenges that you're facing?
I would have to say it's probably raw material, actually, and I must say we've got a fantastic relationship. We work with one raw material supplier. It's a company called Delipack.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys are absolutely brilliant. And, we've got a lot of raw material in the pipeline, but because demand is growing so rapidly, it's making sure that we've got enough in the pipeline to make sure that we don't ever have a situation where we can't supply.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the campaigns that we work on, people ring up and they need cups next week or 2 weeks time, and we've got to switch production around, and it's just making sure that we're aware as much as we can be about future demand, and be able to react.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've learned a lot in my life is, I never say no, which is sometimes not the best news for my team. Often scratching the head. But I would hate to not be able to supply, given all the marketing and the effort that we've put behind the project. I'd hate to be in a position to say, actually, we can't supply because we haven't got raw material. It's not an issue. It's just it's something that is a challenge, and it's a daily challenge, making sure that we're on top of that.
I'm guessing, depending on the percentage of raw material cost within the actual end product that you're charging the client, then that will determine how much stock you can sit on, how much cash you're going to tie up in terms of business. But it's always a balancing act, and having some kind of intermediate Kanban or something like that, where you can hold essential stock to a point in the production, often makes sense. And years ago, it's moved from stock being a dirty word that no one wanted to actually go to going, that's the reality of modern supply chain. If you've not got it and you're waiting for this to come from some paper manufacturer that has suddenly seen their energy bills go through the roof and whatever, it's not always great.
No, it's not.
So
you mentioned earlier, actually, and I maybe skipped over the question a little bit about COVID and the impact. Of course, when things started to open up again, it kind of happened really quickly, and nobody really knew whether or not we'd be allowed to have festivals or whatever. So because of that, nobody had any stock. For the last, the 2 years prior, there was no stock available. So actually, at that point, it was like, we've got to get on top of manufacturing. And it was at that point that the raw material became, in my mind, one of the most important parts of it. Mm-hmm. It was a huge learning curve, but yeah, we're on top of it. As I say, it's still a challenge because forward forecasting is quite difficult when you just don't know what's going to happen. Festivals maybe change, to reusables 1 year or back to paper another year, and it's quite difficult to manage. But I think we're getting a good grip on it, and we're 3 years in now, so, and I'm still smiling.
And it's the same. The unpredictability comes from the innovation. The better the idea is, the more people want to replicate it or try and eat into that market share, and it's taking that opportunity, isn't it, and running with it once you've got that competitive advantage and a product that is unique in its offering. Making more inroads and whatever will shape the decisions of some of these festivals moving forward, because if they're happy with the supply, then actually they'll stick with it.
And
Otherwise they'll look for alternative products.
Absolutely. What one thing about our business is we are fairly unique in the sense that we offer an end-to-end solution.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do we manufacture the cups, but we do the design. Now, some people have got artwork, that's fine. They work with their agencies and we can adapt it and warp it to fit the cup. But quite often we actually do the design.
Mm-hmm.
Then we do obviously production, logistics, and we can even put bins in venues where cups can be collected, and then we can ensure that they are recycled in the correct way. One of the challenges we've got as a business is our cups aren't easy to differentiate from a PE or a PLA line cup. So when it gets into a recycling plant, actually understanding that our product's different is very different for the technology in the plant. Therefore, if we collect in a certain bin, we know that they can go back to the recycling plant in the right way, and they will get recycled properly.
And do you partner with any specific recycling organisations at the moment?
We do, yes.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. It's almost that concept of a sharps bin in a hospital, isn't it? Of let's just make sure that's for that purpose and that's for that purpose.
Yeah. We don't want to make it difficult. Yeah, we don't want to make it difficult for customers. But I think consumers these days are very much on board with the environmental issues that we're all faced with, and will do their bit. And if that means putting a cup in a certain bin to make sure its end of life gets treated correctly, then it's a win-win for us all. So I think we're in a good place in terms of timing, everybody getting on board and understanding. So
and often as a consumer, especially when it comes to recycling, we don't know.
No, absolutely.
We don't know the difference. We don't, we think we're doing the right thing, but actually having someone who knows the difference and can make it easy for us, hey, that gets my vote every single time, because Agreed. I don't know the difference between one and another. It's a paper cup. As far as I'm concerned, it's all recyclable, and it probably isn't. Most isn't. So there we go.
Exactly. And that's the key, it's educating the consumers, and if we can do our little bit to help them, then we can do. As I say, we've got that opportunity. Not everybody takes on every part of our business. Some people, they're well organized in terms of the design, so that's fine. Some people don't need any logistics, that's fine. But quite often during the festival season, our business is 24/7 because these guys don't stop. And if they need cups for, serving drinks, it doesn't matter if it's 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday morning, they're running out because the weather's so warm, they need cups. Yeah. And so that means that I've got no sleep for the next 8 weeks.
Well, it's the business that you've created. There you go. It was always going to have a plus and a minus for dragging you back into the manufacture side rather than just the design or print side of things. So the business is unique. It's faced some challenges and actually seen those as fantastic opportunities, and that's helped shape the business to where it is at the moment. So what's next for you? What's happening with Just Peel and Cupapeel, and I suppose what's the next couple of years looking like for you?
So when we started this interview, I told you that the business had started in print and point of sale. And one of the reasons that I really like the cup as a product was we didn't really, as a business, originally have a USP. We were just one of another sort of mountain of companies that could do the same thing. Actually, we've got a unique product now that not many people are supplying, certainly not with a UKCA mark on there. And it's opening up new opportunities and doors for us. So what I want to do is kind of go backwards to supplying the customers that we've got on board now. It's a much bigger range of customers, and actually introducing new products, the new products to them, but actually not to us. So, we've got a range of ice buckets, cup carriers, clothing, whatever you see within a bar or festival or event space, we can supply and have supplied. But because we've been focusing on developing the cup side of the business, that's kind of taken a bit of a backseat. done on purpose, by the way. We didn't, we needed to focus our efforts on the cup side, but now we're in a great position where we're respected by our customers, they trust us, they know what we're about, and it's time to start introducing new products. So I think we're going to, open up the opportunity to supply a much bigger range of products. We're looking at food packaging out of the same material, so it's all plastic-free material, and being that supplier that can supply a massive range of products rather than just one just makes it easier. And of course, in terms of it being brandable, we can project manage all the print as well to make sure you've got consistency of brand. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. So that's the plan.
Yeah, no, and I think it sounds a great way of moving forward. As you say, it's sort of going full circle, but it at the same time, it's not. What you're doing is you're maximizing the commercial relationships that you've built with these brands, and a lot of them are brands in their own right. So working with them to actually say, what else can we do? This is just one step in terms of your footprint moving forward and how we can show that this is sustainable, and it's going to appeal to a much wider sense of longevity or that sort of infinite game rather than the finite problems of just going, well, we're not carbon neutral at the moment, or we're not, whatever it may be. So it's that sustainability message which will appeal to these big brands because they can show to be doing the right things, I guess.
Yeah, and also, we're not stopping here in the UK. The plan is we're already supplying, because we work with a lot of global brands, we're already supplying into Europe. So the plan is to expand that and, really push behind that. A previous business that I worked in, I worked across lots of regions, and I've still got a lot of contacts. So it's picking those contacts back up and introducing the product into them. Everybody's faced with the same challenge. Therefore, what we've done here in the UK, we're looking to replicate in Europe. And in fact, early in the early part of next year, we're looking also into America as well. So I've spent some time in America this year, just looking at the opportunity. It's colossal. We needed to really embed it in over here, understand it. There's been so many learnings. It's not a typical paper cup. It has its challenges. And I won't go into too much detail because I'd give too much information away. But it has its challenges in terms of how it performs with various things. And because we've learned so much, spent a lot of time, I personally have spent a lot of time in a lot of venues, understanding, working behind the bar, understanding what's going on. And because of those learnings and the knowledge that we've now got, we're in a great position to start to talk to other people and expand into these, other regions. So exciting times for us.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you're certainly not resting on your laurels in terms of having seized an opportunity or created an opportunity and then seized it. You're seeing the next thing and where else this could go, and it's fantastic to hear. Sometimes I do wish in my profession that more people felt like that, rather than getting too harsh on themselves and just finding the negatives in everything rather than the opportunity. And I think if there were more people who thought, about where's the next opportunity, then the economy would be in a much safer place.
My personality not one like that, to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, like
always looking for the next thing.
I didn't think you'd have a problem smiling at throughout the interview and everything like that. So excellent. Well, that's actually bringing us towards the end of the interview, and I say time's just literally flying away from us there. So but really would like to thank Alison for sharing. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that we've not covered, or have we fundamentally put the worlds to right in the last 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm hopefully it's come across in the interview that I'm very hands-on as a person. I talk to all of the customers. I know all about all of the orders, and I think anybody that's listening that's wanting to get into some sort of business in terms of working for themselves or whatever, just listen to people like me who's been there, take on board all of the advice. And I'm surrounded by people that offer me advice daily. Some of it's really good, some of it you have to park it. But I think if you're open to listening to the critiques as well, and the people that support you. You won't go far wrong, and get yourself involved. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything else to say.
No, excellent. Well, just on that note, I remember last year, and I'll phrase it for a target audience, so I'll keep it without the language that it was actually delivered in. But Noel Fitzpatrick, the super vet, summarized how he found success and how he's gone on to do some amazing things. And he basically said, if you don't care enough, you've already lost.
Yep, absolutely.
Didn't quite put it that way, but
yeah,
it was a little bit more forcefully, I think he put it. But yeah, essentially that's the message. Care about what you do, care about the impact that you're having, and your customers will trust you to go along on that journey with them.
I would hope.
That's a wonderful mentality to have.
I would honestly hope that all of my customers know, if they ever needed to get hold of me, they could get hold of me whenever it would be, to talk about whatever they need to talk about. Not personally, obviously, but in terms of the business, and my phone is always on. And I always say that, at the end of the day, it's my business. Yes, I've got a great team around me that support me. I don't expect them to work 24/7, but for me personally, that does work. And I feel that that's been a major part of our success, to be honest, that we're always available, that you're happy to go along. Last week I spent 8 hours in the car to go to an appointment in London and back, just because it was so important. And I think if you put the effort in, people really do genuinely appreciate it.
And it comes from the passion that you've clearly got for your business, which is great to see. So that does bring us to the end. So just remains to be sort of added. If you're wanting to share your business journey, if you're wanting to highlight what you're doing in your industry and everything like that, just like Alison has today, then please do get in touch. When we post these videos out onto YouTube and LinkedIn and things like that, we always put links to the ways to get in touch, and also how to get in touch with Alison and find out about how the world of cups can impact on your life as well. So thank you for everyone who's been watching this. Yet again, it's been another of our Business Spotlight interviews. We'll see you soon. Take care.